Hey, how's everyone doing? This is UV Zoomy back with another video. Forgive me, it's been a while since I've done a video. I've been having to catch up on a lot of the uh, problem sets and all that on Hyperskill to get ready for taking my pre-assessment. So this video is going to be about introduction to animation, and as you can see, this is through CSS. We're going to learn how to basically do animation. And through this process of animation, we use a function called Keyframes, and Keyframes basically allows us to define how each frame of the animation will look like as it goes about through its animation or whatever. As you can see, there's an image here talking about here's the first frame, and then here's the transition line over to the second frame. So how to use the keyframe property is at first you're gonna have you're gonna do @keyframes and then the name of your animation, and then you're gonna start off at 0%, 0% all the way up to 100%. So with keyframes, the cool thing is you can have 100 different sections that you can mess with in your animation. So basically 0 to 100%, you can go from 1, 2, 3%, 4%, 5%, and so on and so forth, which is pretty cool. But most of the times I find that you only use up to 2 or 3 different steps. Either it can be 0 to 50 to 100% or 0 to 100%. I usually don't find that everyone uses every single step in the 100 steps for their animation. Because most of the times just a couple of frames will be suffice for your animation. Scrolling down here, we can use the property animation duration to set our duration for the animation, or how long it will go on for. And obviously we would go inside of one of our we'll go inside of one of our HTML tags. Within one of our HTML tags, we'll start it off giving an animation name for that one tag that has the animation. And here we're saying, hey, we're going to give it a name of change font size. So that's indicative of the animation change in font sizes as it goes about. And the length of the animation will be 3 seconds long. It says here you can set it to infinite, which I don't really think is helpful at all. But so there's another thing noted here about animations. It says it's only been recently that a lot of browsers have accepted animations, within their browser or whatever. As you can see here, it says if you want to use animation in earlier browser versions for most browsers, pre-2017, which it's not even that long ago, you need to duplicate the properties in the keyframes role with the appropriate prefixes. WebKit for versions of Chrome, Safari, Android, or MOZ from Mozilla, Firefox, and O for I can't even say it, Opera. Alright, so let's do some problems. As you can see with this first problem that they had me do, it's called Bullseye. And basically what we want to do with this animation is, at first it had errors within the image tag of CSS, and it wanted me to go back and fix those errors. And so I went back and fixed those errors. And as you can see what the animation is doing, and you can kind of see it from the keyframes module. You can see @keyframes, the animation name is throwing. And starting at the 0%, or at the start, the picture or whatever starts 500 pixels or 500 pixels away from the left side of the screen. And then once you get to 100%, that same image should be getting closer to 110 pixels away from the left side of the screen. And then as you can see here, it transitions from moving away from the top part of the screen down 40 pixels. So you can kind of see it right here. If you look at my cursor, you can see how it's 500, and then it goes down that 40 pixels to go right in the bullseye. So let's see if we can see it better in preview. No. Oh, you can kind of better see it there. So it starts off right there, and then it goes down 40 pixels right into the center of the bullseye, which is pretty dope. So let's see what else. So we can see that with keyframes, that it's calling over to the throwing animation. And as you can see here, we gave the name for keyframes throwing. And if we go back to the image tag of our CSS, within animation, we're calling over to the throwing keyframes tag. And we're saying, hey, we want this animation to be 3 seconds long, and we want it to be infinite. So just keep on looping through it. So as you can see here, it never ends. It just keeps on looping through it. So yeah, at first it seems a little confusing with all the CSS code, because it seems like you're having to do double the work, or it seems like you're doing duplicate of the work. But like right here, I would assume, me being a newbie, like I see animation, I'm like, okay, so that means I can start messing with the animation with this property right here. But that's not the case. This animation is only used, this property is only used to call upon the keyframes throwing method. So it gets a little confusing, but once you mess with CSS a lot, you'll notice that not only like messing with animations does this, but messing with other things as well on CSS. It looks like you got to do like double the work, but that's just how it works, I guess. So the other animation that I implemented on one of the problem sets, it says implement animation that changes the font size of the paragraph tag or element at 0%, or right at the beginning. It should increase to 100 pixels. At 25%, it should be at 105 pixels. And at 100%, or at the end of it, it should decrease all the way down to 50 pixels. So from just reading this, it looks like the animation is going to go from, a starting size of 100 pixels. It's going to increase to 105, and then at the end, it's going to decrease to 50 pixels, which is less than what it was at 0%. So same thing, we have our keyframes, which defines which each frame within our animation will look like. We gave it a name of font size change, and we said, hey, at 0%, we want our font size to be 100 pixels. At 25%, we want the font size to be at 105 pixels. And at 100%, we want it to decrease to 50 pixels. And as you can see here, it's kind of intuitive, but you can see how when I was saying different frames, we can say, hey, another way we can say it is going by percentage. We can say, hey, we have 3 different frames: the start of the frame, the middle of or somewhat the middle of the frame, or the second frame, and then the third frame. That's another way to see it. And so the tag that we're going to be messing with to do this animation and all that is the P, or paragraph tag. And we're basically saying, hey, we have CSS animation as our text. We want the width of that text to be 100 pixels. We want the background color of it to be cyan. And this is the animation property. So we're basically saying, hey, we're calling upon the font size change keyframes method. And we want our animation to be 5 seconds long as it goes throughout. Now I'm going to change this right now, because if you see, I don't have infinite in here, so it's not going to infinitely go through the loops. So if I hit preview, it's only doing 5 seconds and then it stops, because I don't have the infinite loop in there. So what I can do is I can literally just type in infinite right here. Check this out. Now it won't stop, it'll just keep going through. So it goes down to 50, and then it starts over back at 100. Now obviously, if I want to make this more make it more clean, so where you see it goes to 50, then it increases real quick to 100, I can add more frames in here, and I can basically say, hey, at 100% go to 50 pixels, or what I can do is I can have this value be something like 90. So you want to be able to see that big old jump from end to beginning. So if you see right here, it increases, goes down to 90, and it goes back to 100, it goes back to 100 pixels, but you don't see a big jump like earlier. It's just a little jump. You can barely even notice it. So yeah, I got that problem right. I'm just actually going to put it back to what it originally was, 50 pixels. And yeah. So that's that's the basic gist of animations. This is just introductions to animation. I'm going to be touching up on animations more in the harder problem sets, which I can show you right now. Let me go back to... So I'm going to go back to the projects that they offer on front-end development learning track. So again, I'm on the medium project that's considered medium in its difficulty. I'm actually about to be done with it. I'm done with all the learning topics. I just got to finish the project part 2 and part 3. Once I get to hard, that's when we're going to dive into JavaScript even deeper, and I'll be able to learn animations at a deeper level. And JavaScript will definitely help out with that. It's just going to be more complicated. So yeah, I'm hoping to have these 2 done by the beginning of not this coming week, but the week after. And then I'm hoping to at least finish 1 challenge-in project before I take my pre-assessment. And if I can do all that, I'm pretty sure on my pre-assessment I can get a good grade. So, but other than that, that's my short little video. It's introduction to animations. And yeah, just stick around. Thank you so much. Just hit a 4th subscriber. And I'm just going to keep hashing out videos. My next video I'm thinking about making about my career or what I do in the Space Force. Obviously I had to get permission from personnel security to see if that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and make that video, the unclassed version obviously. But other than that, yeah, it's just another part of my journey getting ready for Space Force Coding Bootcamp. I'll see you guys later in the next video. Peace.